So there you have it. Arsenal are through to the next round of the Carabao Cup. It was a completely different performance, a different game to what we saw last year at Anfield at this stage in the competition. 5-5 last year, 10 goals, 0 goals this year. So nowhere near the same type of exhilarating, dynamic performance that we saw from both teams in that game. But you know what? It wasn't actually a bad game tonight, considering that it was a 0-0. I thought both sides showed expressiveness. It was a very open game, very exciting game. Both teams had an awful lot of chances. Liverpool, I think it's fair to say, dominated that second half, but we still had a fair share of opportunities in that first half, and Ketia had a fantastic opportunity to score. And I think, before I forget, Leno, so many props have to go to him. I mean, we've spoken so much recently about Emi Martinez, him leaving to Aston Villa, and I was quite critical of Leno for the game against Liverpool on Monday evening, but tonight really redeemed himself. I thought he was fantastic. 2 penalty saves to win us the shootout, and then the saves he made throughout the game to keep us in it, to keep it at 0-0, absolutely phenomenal. So I think hopefully this performance will put any talk of Emi Martinez to the back of our minds, because it really highlighted the good that Leno brings to this Arsenal team. Yes, I think we can all agree he's not quite as good with his feet as Emi Martinez or, other goalkeepers are. But what he did tonight was fantastic. And I think a lot of us were calling for Runarsson to start this game, our new signing. But, I mean, I'm not going to say thank God he didn't, because we don't know what type of game he'd have had. But, I mean, thank God we've got someone like Leno who is capable of making those types of saves. Is so good for penalties. An Arsenal keeper saving 2 penalties. I mean, it's absolutely unheard of. So, absolutely delighted with that. And all rounds, I think there's a lot of positives to take from tonight's performance. I think it was an interesting one because we saw so many changes in the team, and we saw so many changes from a Liverpool point of view as well. It's really hard to judge players in isolation in these games. But I think what I'm liking from Arsenal at the moment is that no matter how many changes we're making, and I've said it before, no matter what personnel Arteta puts into the side, I'm confident that they're going to put performance in, and I'm confident that they're going to adopt the philosophy that Arteta is trying to instill in this Arsenal team. I do think there are some players in that particular 11 that I think we need to upgrade on, that I think possibly need a few loans perhaps. And it was a strange team, to be honest. We saw Leno starting goal, who I've already spoken about. Kolasinac at left back, who in the past 48 hours has been heavily linked with a move to Bayer Leverkusen for £11 million. I think tonight showed why we need to move him on. And I've got all the respect in the world for any footballer. Kolasinac, as an Arsenal player, got a lot of respect and time for him. But in my opinion, he's been so 50-50, so hot and cold at Arsenal. Raising 10 million quid for him, especially based on tonight's performance, I think would be fantastic business. 100 grand a week off the wage bill as well. And if it will allow us to go and get someone in these dying embers of the transfer window, it's got to be done, in my opinion. He's a player that if he's available to raise funds for, then we've got to do it. He's certainly a player that I think we have the facilities to let go. But in central defence, we saw Gabriel start again. Bit surprised he didn't start on Monday, to be honest, but I was really pleased to see him start tonight and be commanding as ever. I thought it was fantastic, and he's got to start against Sheffield United, in my opinion. Alongside him was Rob Holding. Again, I thought, had moments of lapses in concentration. I said it after Monday. He's one of the players that I think maybe when Chambers, Mustafi, whoever is fit, will potentially slot in. And we was playing a back 4 tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually saw Gabriel and David Luiz start potentially in a back 4 against Sheffield United. I think that could very well be the case. And interesting to see we started a back 4 as well. What looked like a back 4 anyway, because we haven't seen us play that for a long time now. And it was, really exciting to see. I thought we looked quite comfortable. And the fact we've kept a clean sheet will hopefully give Arteta a bit more trust and faith in our defence. And I do think with David Luiz and Gabriel, 2 Brazilians alongside each other, Tierney, Bellerin at fullback, I think that's got a lot of potential to be exciting. But our other current fullback this evening was Cedric Suarez. Make of him what you will. Very basic performance. Didn't get forwards at all, really. And I think maybe that's because he was under instruction to do so, because I remember in games last season he did get forward quite a bit, put some excellent crosses in. We didn't see any of that from him this evening, so maybe it's just a case of we're playing Liverpool and he didn't have the opportunities he wanted to get forward. But I thought he had a very quiet game. In midfield, it was a strong midfield 3 of Joe Willock, Granit Xhaka and Dani Ceballos. Arguably our 2 starters in there in Dani Ceballos and Granit Xhaka. The one that stood out for me was Joe Willock. I thought the game really passed him by, to be honest. He almost assisted Eddie Nketiah for the goal that we almost scored. But apart from that, I think he's one of these players that I'm looking at as someone that really needs a loan. I think since he broke onto the scene, I still remember him scoring that goal away at Blackpool in Unai Emery's first season. I thought he had some really good games. But last year, I think he just slowly fell off the ball a little bit, maybe got a little bit too comfortable. And I don't know what he adds to this Arsenal midfield. I'm not sure what type of player he is. Is he creative midfielder? Is he box to box? I've still got a lot of faith in him. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's, what, 20, 21? He's got, his whole career ahead of him. But I do want to see what he's capable of, 38 games in a league season, regularly playing in the Premier League at a club like West Brom, for example. I'd just love to see what he could do in just a regular season, playing week in, week out, because it's not really... It's hard to judge him in games in the Europa League, in the Carabao Cup, coming off the bench for 10, 15 minutes in the Premier League. I think we need to see what he's capable of throughout an entire Premier League season, because right now I just don't think he offers anything to the Arsenal midfield. But I do think potential is there to be unearthed. It's just been shoved to the back of the wardrobe for the time being. And then our front three of Eddie Nketiah, Bukayo Saka and Nicola Pepe. I thought Nketiah led the line well, struggled to get into the game at times. Had that opportunity to score, didn't take it particularly well, but Adrian, I thought, did very well in that instance. Bukayo Saka, bright as ever, and I think he certainly showed the confidence that's flowing through him in a minute, given that he's just got an England call-up. I think, it shows what a great player he is, that he's got an England call-up, but he's not really played that regularly for us in the past couple of weeks, so massive props to him, thoroughly deserved, and I'm just excited to see how he's going to do in an England shirt, but I thought he was really good tonight, as he always is. And then Nicola Pepe, who... I thought was on the receiving end of a lot of criticism this evening. I really thought Nicolas Pepe was on the receiving end of a lot of stick. I saw on Twitter a lot of people saying, is it time to cash in Pepe? Is it time to assume that he's not going to make it in English football? He's not started the Premier League game for us this season. Let's just remember that for a moment. Yes, he's played against Leicester and he was quiet this evening and he was quiet in the game against Leicester. But I think... I'm only really going to judge him when we see him in the Premier League, and I think we've got to see him on Sunday at home to Sheffield United, a team that have lost all 3 games so far this season. I want to see Pepe, Aubameyang, Lacazette, the front three that we were talking so excitedly about this time last year. I really want to see those 3 gel click together, and he's got. Yeah, I mean, I would say. I am a little bit concerned about Pepe. I do think we need to see a bit more from him. A lot of his goals and assists last season, the return was good, but I think we can't hide the fact that a lot of those were in the Europa League, for example. He did get some notable goals, scored against the likes of United, but I think this season we need to start seeing return on investment. 72 million quid we've spent on him, our highest ever, our most expensive signing. We do need to see a bit more of a return from him, but I'm still, I'm still fully on board the Pepe train. I still think there's a lot more to come from him, and I'm still very excited about the player that we've got at our disposal. And there's bags and bags and bags of quality there. I think it's clear to see. It's just getting it out of him is proving to be quite difficult. But yeah, I mean, not too much else to add really on this evening's game. All I can say is I'm buzzing that Leno made so many good saves, and we've gone through in rather tough circumstances, but we're through to the next round. And as I say, I think this is a competition that Mikel Arteta will definitely want to win. And having beaten Leicester, having beaten Liverpool now, it's really positive. I mean, we've beaten arguably 2 of the toughest contenders we could have come up against. And yeah, it's a reserve competition. It's a competition that not a lot of managers care about. But as the competition goes on, you start to see stronger and stronger and stronger lineups. I think it's one of those ones that if you're in it, you care about it. If you're not in it, you don't really care about it. And I whilst we're in it, I certainly do care about it. And I want us to win it. Another piece of silverware for Arteta. I mean, FA Cup, Community Shield, Carabao Cup in, just over a year in charge potentially would be phenomenal. I'm not saying it will happen. There's still a long way to go, but it's an exciting prospect, and I'm just buzzing that we've beaten arguably our biggest competition for it. So yeah, very exciting, and to beat Liverpool 3 times out of 4 now in Klopp's reign is only a positive. I mean, I don't want to put a negative spin on things. I would say Liverpool have won the one game that was the most important one out of all those fixtures. I mean, looking back to the first time we played Liverpool and beat them under Arteta, they'd already won the league. Second time on penalties, third time today on penalties. I mean, they've definitely won the game that mattered most, I think, on Monday at the start of the Premier League. I'd have loved to have won that game. But, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you can only take confidence from beating this Liverpool side 3 times in any circumstances. So, big things on the horizon, lot to be excited about. A lot of players coming through that are looking awfully exciting. Disappointed we didn't see Reece Nelson on the pitch tonight, but our squad is so deep at the minute. We seriously need to get rid of some players in the next couple of days. I mean, the transfer window is so close to its conclusion, and we've still got to bring players in. We've still got to let go of players. Exceedingly exciting time, exceedingly worrying time. But let's see how this next couple of days goes. And roll on Sheffield United. Buzzing for that one. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments box below. Drop a like on the video if you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll speak to you very, very soon. See you later, guys.